Hello guys and welcome back to another video where I rank stuff. I don't know what to call it. I think it's another ranking with Tiermaker or something. I know I haven't done it in a while. But this time we are doing a Call of Duty Zombies perk machines, or Perk-A-Colas as they're called, I think. You might not know this about me. I think I've said it before though. But I am a huge Treyarch zombie fan. I have played a lot of Treyarch zombie games, and I have... I don't mean to brag, but I was one... well, at some point, I think I was up on the rank 10,000 board, you know? That's a lot, okay. Okay, we like 7 billion people. It's a lot in the long run, okay? But I stopped at some point because I swapped to PC, and then I had to rebuy the games, but I didn't, and all that stuff happened, so... And then I didn't play it anymore, but up until that point I had played zombies from World at War to Black Ops to Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 3. And then I pretty much stopped right there. After Black Ops 3 I just said I don't really want to play it anymore. Because it just became something different. In Black Ops 4 I had no interest in it. It became this... game that wasn't really classic zombies anymore, but more like, you know, just hot everywhere and special abilities and all that jazz. All I want is some classic shoot the zombies in the head, they die, fun, and you get points, you can unlock more of the map and then see how long you can survive. I don't want all that extra stuff. Like, I like doing Easter eggs too, like they are very fun to do. But they're more like a side thing to me. Like, it's something you do once and then you don't really touch them again. And then now you do them again if you think the benefits are worth it. Like in Origins, in that one. There I would say the benefits are worth it. Because you get a whole room you can actually train zombies in. That is like huge. And if you die there... let's just say that the only way to die is by you either making a very, very stupid mistake. Or you... You simply don't want to play anymore, so you just kill yourself. So we'll see. But to start off with, we have Deadshot Daiquiri. I'm not gonna bring up the music for the perk machines, and you probably also notice that I've synth in the background, like synth music. It's fun stuff, okay? Don't judge. But yeah, so first we got Deadshot Daiquiri. Sorry, my throat not working with me. Now, Deadshot Daiquiri is a very special perk. Because I don't actually know if it works with PC mice. I know it works on controller if you've auto-aim on. But I don't even know if it works on PC. Like, it should, right? Does it just do more damage to the head on PC? I actually have no clue. But from what I gather is that you auto-aim, and then it auto-aims to their head instead of their body. And then you press the shoot button and it kills them. This is the only perk I think has a difference between console and PC, if there is one anyway. But it doesn't really matter if there is. This perk takes up a slot that another perk could use. And this perk itself is not anything impressive. All you can do is just aim at their head and you do more damage anyway than if you were to aim at their body. Even if it enhances the damage or doubles it, it won't really matter unless you're on very high rounds. So I would say, I would put this at bad. Like, if you happen to get it by a random perk drop or something, I mean, it's not a big deal. You can keep it. It's not really bad by any means. It's just, well, it actually is bad because the first one down is D, but it's not rank D by any means. Because it can be useful. Especially if you have a controller, it can be useful. Again, don't know the PC effect, but even if it does more damage to the heads, it's not exactly bad to get. It's just, if you get it, it just takes up a slot that another perk could be on, so it's a little bit sad that you got that one. But then you might as well use it until you die again, you know? That kind of situation. But no, it's not something I would go out of my way to buy in the game and then keep it throughout the rest of the day. It's not an essential slot. So that's why it's at bad. Alright, next up we have the normal original double tap 1.0. I'm just gonna put it here. Now some might say, oh, it's bad because I had a gun that was slow. Like, if you were in World at War and you had the BAR, right? This was good. If you were in World at War, you had the PPSH. This was bad. Like, it all comes down to the fire rate of the gun, right? So if you have a very slow shooting gun and you get double tap, it can become good. If you have a good gun, or not a good, but if you have a gun that shoots fast, if you get double tap, it just wastes your ammo. Because then there's a chance that even if you kill the zombie, you don't notice it before you wasted like 10 extra bullets. And goddamn throat. And I don't think that's a good idea, because I mean, the double tap is just one of those perks that no one wants to use, because it just eats up ammo, and ammo is very important in this game. Not in any game, but in this game. Just in any game in general, ammo is important. If you don't have ammo, you're pretty much just screwed, and then you can't really do anything about it besides swapping up your gun that you like. So this gun, like this perk, just makes you either pick slow guns on purpose, so you can use this to make them better. Or you can go ahead and pick a fast shooting gun and then not use this at all. Usually the fast shooting guns are the best anyway, because they're normal speed. They're not too fast, they're not too slow, they're just normal speed. And if you add this on it, they're just too fast. So if you have a crappy gun, this can be useful. Or if you have a slow shooting gun, this can be useful. But overall, it's very useless, and no one really uses it in Borderlands. What am I talking about? In any zombie games. Now, before you say anything, I'm gonna go ahead and put double tap 2.0 up to, you know what, I'm gonna say great. Now, why the heck would I put it at great? You just put double tap 1.0 at D. Well, I'll give it to you right here. Not only does this solve the issue with guns using a lot of ammo, but also makes the firing rate make more sense to me. Now, let me tell you why I think double tap is up here at great. It simply is just great. I cannot play a zombie game without double tap, because it essentially takes one bullet and makes it into two. So in essence, you actually double your ammo if you pick up this perk. Do the bullets that spread out do more damage? I don't actually know, or if they do less damage, I don't know. But what I do know is that I have used this perk ever since it was introduced in Black Ops 2, I think it was. And I have not been able to not use it since. Because when you get up to rank 16 and above, this perk starts to feel like a real lifesaver. You can shoot zombies and do so much more damage with it, especially if you hit their heads. And then you can just do so much damage and they have no chance against you. Like, it's just impossible for me to play the game without double tap 2.0. It's one of those perks where I would say, even if you don't have Juggernog and you only have one space left, this does the exact same thing without doing the exact same thing. Now, the thing with Juggernog is that if a zombie gets close to you, I'm going to talk about that more later, you have more health, right? But double tap 2.0 makes sure they never even get close to you, because you just shoot them first and they die faster than if you didn't have double tap 2.0. And then that is very important in a zombie game where zombies have to get close to you to kill you. Double tap 2.0 makes it so you kill them way faster than they can run to you. And for me, that makes it pretty much essential every single time I play zombies. I don't know about you guys, you can disagree with me if you want, but double tap 2.0 is definitely a great. I cannot live without that one. Next up, we got Electric Cherry. I'm gonna put that on average. Part of me wanted to keep it on good, but it's pretty much an average. Again, it comes down to it taking a slot that could otherwise be used by something a little bit more efficient or better. Now, if I had to compare it to whether or not you should replace it with something else, I would say either pick Electric Cherry or Speed Cola. Because they both serve the exact same purpose in essence. Electric Cherry makes it so when you reload your gun, you get an electric field around you that stuns zombies around you and damages them a little bit. So if you're surrounded, you reload, zombies around you get stopped, and they kind of just sit there, get electrocuted with the arms out, and they're getting electrocuted, you know. And in essence, that is very useful. Because the area they get electrocuted is pretty big. So if you're surrounded by zombies, you're having trouble. Let's imagine you're playing the Alcatraz map. I forgot, Mob of the Dead. Let's imagine you play that. You're going up to the roof. There's a staircase there. The zombie is going down the staircase. You have zombies behind you, about to get trapped. You're on the back of the room. The zombie from the staircase is now down the staircase, but it's surrounding you. You then reload your gun because you're now out of ammo. The zombie gets stunned. You can either shoot it and run past it, or just run past it in general and run up to the roof. And there you go, you're saved because of Electric Cherry. It is one of the most useful, but not also at all useful perks. Which is why I put it at average. It can save your life in the game. But overall, if I were to play a game with Electric Cherry in it, I would usually just replace it with Speed-Cola. Just because I feel like Speed-Cola is more... It's the same issue with Double Tap and Juggernog. It's like, do you want them to get close to you? Or do you want them to die before they get close to you? And the same thing here with Speed-Cola, where Speed-Cola is like, they're close to you, or you want them to stay far away from you, and you don't want them to get close to you. And Electric Cherry is, if they get close to you, then this happens. Whereas, if you pick Speed-Cola, it's like, if they're far away, make sure they never get close to you, so you use Speed-Cola. Again, it's all about speed and killing them before they get to you. When it comes to camping, I think Electric Cherry might be best. Because if they get close to you and you're in like a spot where you don't want to get behind you or anything with your friends. I used to do that in Buried, where we camped up atop the salon where you can find the... what was that gun called? The rifle, the good rifle anyway. And then you had the Double Tap 2.0 when you had maybe Vulture's Aid and some other stuff like Juggernog and some other stuff. But if this was there, I would actually might pick this, because then if zombies get up to you and they're about to hit you, you reload and suddenly they can't move and all the zombies behind them are stuck, so they can't move past those zombies. And to me, that's very useful in a camping situation, whereas in Speed-Cola, you had to keep getting pushed back and back and back and back. You couldn't stop them in the tracks, you just had to kill them before they get to you. But this is very good, because then you reload when they get close to you, and then they just stop in their tracks, and then you get ready to shoot them again once your gun is reloaded fully. Also, the duration of them getting close to you is also pretty good. The duration of them being, you know, electrocuted is good. So I would say pretty good. But not really worth one of my spots, according to my playstyle anyway. Now, next up, we got Juggernog. I'm gonna go up and say that Juggernog is either good or great. Now, before you yell at me, Juggernog is essential. Yes, I agree that Juggernog is essential. I do. But if you don't get hit... Because in Black Ops 3, it is 3 times you have to get hit. In Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1, it is 2 times. So as soon as Black Ops 3 was introduced, the value of Juggernog was reduced slightly. So Juggernog wasn't essential in those, but in the earlier games it was 100% essential. But out of habit, I also always pick it, so I'm gonna put it up at great. Now, when it comes to Juggernog and using it, it does take up another slot. But this slot makes sure you always live in case you're training, in case you're doing anything but camping. Camping, I would say, is the only situation where you don't need Juggernog. But if you're running around the map, you might get hit a couple times. Juggernog is very much essential. But like I said, if you're very good at the game, you don't need Juggernog. In Black Ops 3 anyway, and so on and so forth. It just gets pretty obsolete. Sort of. because you also get this zombie shield and everything. So if you get killed by the 3 hits, chances I would have gotten killed with Juggernog anyway, with it gives you 5 hits. Because usually when I train, as an example, in Shadow of Evil, right? I run around, I have Juggernog, I get trapped, I get killed. I don't have Juggernog, the exact same thing happens, just a little bit faster. So again, I would just say Juggernog is useful to get you out of tight situations now and again, but usually if you get into that tight situation, Juggernog is not going to save you because you're still surrounded by zombies. But if you train, it is an essential thing. But besides that, I don't think Juggernog is that essential. I think it's a little bit overhyped for what it is, honestly. But I get why it was good in the first 2 Black Ops games, and then it kind of just became like a nice thing to have instead of a I must have this. Again, I'm sure some people disagree with me, and it's like, I can't survive without Juggernog. I need it. You probably suck at the game. You need Juggernog. Oh, you got killed with Juggernog, and you got killed the same way without Juggernog. This just means you're bad at the game. I mean, maybe. But personally, I usually carry my friends in that game. Even though I'm not the best, I still think of myself as pretty good at the game. Black Ops 3 now I'm referring to, by the way, because that was the example I brought up in Shadows of Evil. And I personally think that it was... I think Juggernog is useful, but I don't think it is useful right off the bat where you must have it before anything else. It's just that you can survive without Juggernog. There's an extra perk slot for you to use something else. But usually I would still say Juggernog is very useful. And I would definitely recommend you get it. If you're having trouble in the game and you're not good at avoiding getting hit, get Juggernog. It will save you. Okay, next up, we have Mule Kick. Now, in a lot of situations, I would say the Mule Kick is good. Because most of the time when you reach higher rounds, you run into an issue where zombies take so much damage from your guns that just take so much ammo before they die that you run out of ammo, and you have to get a new gun in order to get ammo if you didn't buy a wall weapon upgraded. So what I usually do if I get Mule Kick is I get 2 box guns, then I buy a gun off the wall, upgrade that one, and then I'll use the gun off the wall once I run out of ammo in my other 2 main guns. So in that sense, Mule Kick is one of the most useful perks you can get. But why is it only in good then? Well, again, it comes up with the whole thing. It takes up a slot, and it doesn't give you any buffs per se. It just gives you another gun. So in essence, it just gives you more ammo. If you had to pick between Mule Kick and something else, I'll probably pick Vulture's Aid or Mule Kick. Where I would definitely pick Vulture's Aid, but that's just a preference, I guess. I don't know, I think you get ammo from Vulture's Aid, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it just points? I don't remember. No, I'm pretty sure it's ammo. But yeah, Mule Kick by itself is not very useful. Unless you either plan on camping, you want a wonder weapon, but you also want 2 other guns. Or you go up to higher rounds and you need a 3rd gun that is a wall buy because you don't want to get rid of your other 2 guns. Now, that being said, you can completely survive without Mule Kick if you pick a wall gun and then a normal gun, but then you don't have 2 good guns. You have 1 crappy gun and 1 decent gun. That's usually how I roll. I have 1 crappy gun and 1 decent gun. But it can quickly become annoying to use those guns, and if you just want to make your experience better, Mule Kick is definitely a must-have for making the experience of playing zombies a little bit better. Now, there's a drawback to using Mule Kick, though. If you use Mule Kick and you happen to want a specific weapon really fast, like let's say you're surrounded by zombies, you have a wonder weapon, you then swap weapon, you don't remember, then you start shooting, you're like, wait, this is not my wonder weapon, then you already did. It happened to me multiple times when I used Mule Kick, and that's probably the one reason I don't use it anymore. Is because whenever you click the switch button, you don't pick what gun is the next one. So if you don't remember what gun is the next one after this gun, and you don't click it twice fast enough, you're then surrounded by zombies, you can't do anything. because you didn't get the gun right for the job, you know. So that's a negative to it. So it can be useful, but not really. But I definitely think it can be worth it if you do it right, or use it right. That's why it's on good and not great, and also not on average. PhD flopper, I want to put it on average, but it's really bad. Before you scream at me, and I'm going to say that at every single one of these, because I know people have conflicting opinions about this stuff, especially perks from the games. First, we have no PhD flopper is not a bad perk per se. It has a lot of positives. It's close to being average. But in essence, it's really just you don't take any explosive damage. The second thing about it is that you can dolphin dive into the ground and it kills the enemies around you. But that was more or less removed, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken. So that's removed from the perk. So now it only makes it so you don't take any explosive damage. And in essence, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But that makes the perk only useful if you use explosive weapons. And I never, ever use explosive weapons. And I don't even know if there are any wonder weapons that use explosive weapons. The only time like this can be useful is if you're trying to make a crawler, in my opinion. Or if, I don't know, if you want to get out of a pinch in the older games, or in Black Ops 1, you just go ahead and dolphin dive into an area and the zombies that are gone, you run through. If this was a cool Tiermaker list, it would probably be on top, by the way. But if it's just usefulness in general, then PhD flopper has to go down to bed. There are only certain situations where it's useful, and most of them happen to be almost in none of the new maps. I don't even know if there is a wonder weapon that causes explosive damage. And I sure hope you guys did not use the China Lake in the older games. If you use the China Lake, I'm just so I feel just don't. China Lake sucks. All right, next up we got Quick Revive. Now there are actually two forms of Quick Revive. There's Self Revive, and then there's the Quick Revive in multiplayer / co-op zombies. And if we take Self Revive, it is more or less still on average. Like, the reason why both of the same on average is because reviving a teammate fast can be very useful in situations where it's zombie games that always run towards you and hitting you. So fast revive can be very useful. But usually, even if you try to revive, you still might die. Just because it's half the time, it doesn't mean the time is so fast that you won't die by reviving them. And secondly, when it comes to reviving yourself in the game, I always happen to die right after. You get 2 explosive pistols. Mustang and Sally, if I remember right, in Black Ops. I'm going to go out of that one. So if something else happens in a newer game, I don't know. But in the older games, when you use self-revive, I call it self-revive, but it's still called quick revive. It's supposed to help you out, but for me, it just makes my death longer, you know? It's like you immediately go down, because usually I don't go down until later rounds, and I wish I didn't have picked this perk up then, because I died anyway right after. So if anything, this is just an annoyance, because I feel like I need it, but I really don't. But when it comes to using this specifically, I just don't see myself always using it. I always get it, but I never really use it because I just either leave or don't die at all. So self-revive in solo is just... I would recommend to try playing without getting it, seeing how far you go, and then compare to how you've used it, and you'll see there is pretty much no difference in how long you lasted, unless you made a stupid mistake. So in essence, it is great if you're bad at the game, but if you know what you're doing, it's just there to take a spot, and it's not fun, it's not nice. So I just say, just leave it where it is, and try to take something else. Now, here we have Sleight of Hand. And Sleight of Hand in itself is only good. I know, it's a set staple in the zombies universe. It's very useful, it's great. This can be a lifesaver too. Like I mentioned with the electric cherry, it is very useful, it is very good. Especially if you have a machine gun you're using. If this is a machine gun, it goes up here. But if it's a normal gun, it kind of goes here, because most of the time when you shoot zombies in the game, you train or you have a spot where you have friends or you camp. And if you camp again, electric cherry is a good alternative. But if you just want to shoot stuff fast, Sleight of Hand or Speed-Cola is the best one. And that is where this kind of goes in a good spot, where it's like Speed-Cola is great for pretty much any situation. It's very good at adapting to anything you put at it. But electric cherry is a specific situation you have to be in. And that's why Speed-Cola is on like up top instead of down below. But the reason why it's not on great is because if I didn't have Speed-Cola, I don't think too much would have changed, except I would just go slower through the rounds. So it's more of a satisfying thing than a necessary thing, if that makes sense. But it still makes everything much smoother. It makes sure that when you shoot zombies and you reload your gun and everything, you don't waste too much time while playing zombies, because playing zombies can take a whole day if you're not careful. And Speed-Cola just makes it not take a whole day, essentially. Especially if you play alone. If you play with friends and two of them get it and two other get electric cherry, and you make the two electric cherry dudes go front, and the two ones in the back of Speed-Cola, that's a good combination. That could also work out. But I don't know about Speed-Cola in general just being like great. But it certainly is useful. Alright, next up we got Stamina Up, which is, again, average. Again, it comes down to, it takes up a perk slot. Is that really a good idea to make Stamina Up go into a perk slot? I don't know. Usually the zombies never go above your normal speed in the game. And you can easily train them too, so they're forced to go around objects and everything. If you have Stamina Up, it makes it easier, and you barely get hit, and you're less likely to make a mistake. But there's still the human error chance that usually happens with any perk, where even though you have it, you might still make the same mistake. So essentially, it just makes training easier. But for me, when I started using this to train, when I'm used to training without it, I ended up always getting myself killed instead. Because since I pick up Stamina Up, I just run faster, and then in my head, I calculate the zombie's speed versus mine. And I just run so fast with Stamina Up that I literally have to run, stop, run, stop, run, stop, in order for me to, if I run around a specific object or something, I run so fast that the zombies turn around to the side where they came from again, because I ran that way, and it's just not useful to anyone. It's just not nice at all, and it ends up getting me killed instead. So it's a plus and a negative for this perk, you know? If you use it right, you can do well, but I never were able to. Only in Shadows of Evil and Black Ops 3 I've actually used it. Because in that map, you don't really run around training, you just run away from the zombies and then shoot behind you, then run to another area and shoot behind you. But if you train specifically, I would not suggest this. You're just too fast. What is this one called again? Tombstone? Or to whatever it's called? I'm gonna put it on average. When it comes to this whole Tombstone root beer, whatever it's called, it's... If I have to explain the effect, it's if you die and you have the perk, you get a tombstone where you died, and if you're fast enough or at the end of the round, you can pick up the tombstone, but it can also wear out later on. But the perk is essentially a passive effect that takes up a perk slot. And usually it's not really worth it. Again, I run into the same problem I do with all the other perks that I usually get that have like, if you die, do this situation. usually I die anyway. And all the things that are supposed to help me stay alive after I die are usually just useless to me. So, same with the quick revive. This can be useful, depending on what kind of player you are. On the earlier rounds, it's useful. On the later rounds, it's useless. And it just takes up a slot in your perk point thingy. So there's no point in having it. It doesn't get you anything except, you know, a nice little RIP as a perk on the little area where you have your perks. So I definitely would not suggest using this unless you know you're bad at the game and you know you will die because your teammates will not get you. Because I think you'll lose it if you get revived too. So there's not really any point to using it. It's really just a waste of a space, which is why I didn't get rid of it. It's just, but again, it can be useful and you can use it to get more than 4 perks too. Well, you could. I don't know if they patched that or not. And essentially, it's again just very useful. So I don't really know what to pick in that regard, but I do know that it is a very cool and useful feature to use whenever, you know, you feel like you want to experiment with the perks, or you just kind of want to, if you're just bad or you have a friend over who's playing, you kind of say, oh, take this, because, you know, if you play with friends, you play with a friend and you're like, take this, then I don't have to revive you on the next round, or I get your same stuff back, you know? So yeah, that's that perk, not that great. Next up, we got Vulture Sade, I'm pretty sure it's called. And I will actually put this probably up here at good. Maybe a little overpowered in my opinion. And now, to my knowledge, the only place I've ever seen this besides modded maps are is in Buried. And in Buried, if you picked up this perk, you were set. Because you picked up points, you picked up ammo, I'm pretty sure. And if you camp and stuff and you have good guns that get ammo too from picking them up, you're set. And you get extra points too. Like, you get so many points so fast that the only way you'll die is if you get to such high rounds that you just simply can't kill them enough. And they just overrun you to the point where you can't even take the points and the ammo anymore. And that's how overpowered this thing is. And I probably picked it up every single time with double tap, Speed-Cola, and Juggernog. Because it is so useful. Like, I could not play Buried without that one, just because of how overpowered it was. Essentially, you can see things through walls, see items on the ground, and you can pick them up, and then you get more ammo and more points. I think the points and ammo was separate, and I don't know if there was a set amount you got. But it was certainly to the point where I would pick it every single time, so it must have been good. So yeah, it goes up to good. Not great, because I do think I could manage without it. But on good, I do think it is a very useful one. So if you want to pick between Mule Kick, Speed-Cola, or Vulture Sade, I mean, take your pick. But personally, I would have gone for double tap, Juggernog, and Speed-Cola, and whatever other perk I now felt like using. Usually, I always end up going with Mule Kick or Quick Revive because I'm usually playing with people. So my combination would usually either be double tap, Juggernog. Actually, if I have to go in order, I would usually get Juggernog first, then double tap, or double tap then Juggernog, because to me it doesn't really matter which one of these two I get first. Then I get Speed-Cola, and then I get Mule Kick, or Vulture Sade, or Quick Revive. In a co-op battle match, by the way. If it was single player, I would go for Mule Kick. Now, next up, we got Who's Who. One of the most controversial perks ever, but also actually fairly good. I put it at average. Actually, no, it's gonna go down to bad. Now, what do I have to say about this one? It's cool. I'll say that it's a cool idea. It's a cool implementation, and it's just overall very cool that they added that. But in actual practice, it is very, very awful. So let me give you an experience last time I used this, okay? I was in the higher rounds, I went down. Boom, I was teleported to an area on the map, and now I had to get my buddy back. My buddy was pretty far away, and you have a limited time to get to your buddy. I had a bunch of zombies that training after me, because it was in the middle of the round 2 where I died. And all the zombies respawned near this person now. Near the new character that's supposed to revive my old one. So I ran all the way over towards my character, only for the timer to run out, and now I lost everything. I even bought quick revive so I could revive myself faster. But now I lost everything, and now I'm stuck with this pistol. Cause the timer ran out. And that wasn't useful at all. That was, if anything, I lost more than I gained there. I would rather have ended this without being humiliated first, you know. I'd rather have gone down fighting than being humiliated and kind of just went down after trying to get perks again, after using Who's Who and failing. So it can be useful in the earlier rounds, like every single other perk that is like about you surviving after you've gone down. But again, it just isn't useful in the longer rounds, and it just kind of drags you down more than it helps you. This is more emotional drama than, you know, or trauma than actual, you know, just being bad in general. But it's just not nice dying in a round because of the perk instead of because of your failure. Even though it was still because of your failure, but because this happened after your failure, it was still this reason why you died. So I'll put it there, you know, it's okay. It's okay. Next up, we got Widow's Wine, which is essentially Electric Cherry's ability. Just more damage and more limited. A Widow's Wine is a stronger Electric Cherry, but where Electric Cherry has permanent shocks that always happens after a select cooldown after you reload. Widow's Wine happens to use your grenades, and your grenades get sticky, and they do more damage once you are hit. But when you run out of the grenades, you will not be able to use it anymore unless you get grenades next round. Now, it has saved me more than once, I'll admit that. It's not the most horrible perk you could get. It's a good 4th perk to get. But usually, it's simply not worth it. It's just... like, if you have nothing else to get, you can get it on the map, because I don't think anything else is that much better. But when it really comes to Widow's Wine, the only reason why you would ever get it is when you get hit. The zombies go with cobwebs all over that throws them down and stuff. And it's good if you get surrounded, by the way, and they hit you. But if they hit you and the zombies get stuck in front of you, and you can't get out of that area because it's the higher rounds, you can't kill them fast enough, and they get out of the cobweb again, you're dead anyway. So it's useful if you have a way out, pretty much. But besides that, it's just a cheap knockoff of Electric Cherry, where Electric Cherry is definitely better than Widow's Wine. But they both have the same problems, and Widow's Wine is less useful in general, but does more damage, if that makes sense. So I certainly would not say that Widow's Wine is essential in any way, shape or form. But overall, Widow's Wine is fairly useful. But not more useful than Electric Cherry. And that leads me to the end of the video, where I will now explain what I would pick for my specific zombie runs. So in Knockdown Totem, there are no perks, unless you count some remastered maps, and for that I would just use the 4 normal perks. Double Tap 2.0, Juggernog, Speed Cola, and is it Quick Revive? Mule Kick. No, never mind. It was Mule Kick. I would use double tap, Juggernog, Speed-Cola, and Mule Kick. Because in that map, there's only one place to camp. You know where it is above the staircase. And there it is very useful to have those 4 perks specifically. And I also think it's the only 4 you can get. Never mind, I think Quick Revive is also there, but in that map, Quick Revive is useless because the zombies spawn everywhere anyway. You can't revive before you get killed. Now on the Rooked, I would go for the same 4 perks again. Yeah, on as a Shunonume, I would go for the same 4 perks again. Because there's just nothing more useful. All the way up until Black Ops 2, I'll still go for the same 4 perks. Except now there is another factor to consider. Oh wait, never mind. Double tap 2.0 was not a thing in those games, so never mind. Ignore the whole double tap thingy. Then I would get double tap. Let me just get whatever else. Quick Revive, I guess. I would always ignore double tap, but then Quick Revive instead. Quick Revive, Juggernog, Mule Kick, and Speed-Cola. Those would be the 4 I would get. Up until Black Ops 2, where they started adding new perks. I would never use this Tombstone one. I would occasionally use Stamina Up as the 4th one. But my main standard perk choices were always Double Tap 2.0, Juggernog, Speed-Cola. Because then every single map, they're always there, you know what they do. And then occasionally I would pick Electric Cherry as my 4th one. Or Widow's Wine, depending on what map, because Electric Cherry isn't in a lot of maps, whereas Widow's Wine is in most of the modern maps, in Black Ops 3 anyway. I would never get Quick Revive, because if I can revive my friends, it would be at the end of the rounds anyway. So, Stamina Up, again, I already mentioned why I would not use that one. I just always end up getting myself killed. And these ones I just don't test, like touch. Then on Buried specifically, I would swap over to Vulture's Aid instead of Electric Cherry or Widow's Wine or whatever. I don't know if they're in that map, but I'll use Vulture's Aid instead to help you out big time, but still with the other 3 main ones. And then in Origins, I would ignore Electric Cherry, I would ignore Widow's Wine or whatever. And I might just get Stamina Up in that one. Because that one is a lot of running around in mud and everything. So Stamina Up in that one is very useful. Now I don't know, I haven't actually played Black Ops 4. But I know they don't use the Perk-A-Colas anymore, they use another system. But they do have 2 different storylines, and I still think they use the Perk-A-Colas in that storyline, in the other one. So that's interesting anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this little rant and this little whole tier list I made for the Perk-A-Colas in Call of Duty Zombies. If you did enjoy, consider liking and subscribing to see more of this kind of stuff. Let me know what tier lists you would like to see in the future, if you would like to see some. Or what games you would like me to play with my friends. With perspectives, without perspectives, you know, you can ask for that too. And all that kind of stuff. It would be cool to see what you guys think and want. Oh, and also let me know if you disagree or agree with this list. Where would you place things? I know that this is not everyone's list. I know that this list only really complements my playstyles, and it is completely subjective, not objective. So if you would place them differently, how would you place them? I'm very curious about that actually. Because maybe I should try changing out my playstyle a little bit more to fit your guys' needs, or to fit you guys' opinions and stuff like that. That could be cool to do as well. So I do think that could be very nice. Yeah, do end up letting me know. But besides that, I hope you guys want to check out some other ones of my videos. And as always, stay awesome.